of doodles. So a Zendala is really a mandala. Mandala means a circle that you fill up with different doodle designs. Obviously, you can see I've taken a pen and I've just created different doodles within this circle. The art of Zendala is related to centuries-old art of the mandala. They stand for unity of the soul and the universe. If you've ever heard someone say you can find your inner Zen, your peace, they're used for meditation and contemplation. And there are many different formats. Some people exercise, some people run, some people sleep, some people do art. So these are different formats that we're going to show you in black and white and some in color and different artistic expressions that you can use. So a Zentangle is similar to a Zendala, except it's not a circle. It has angles, so we're calling it a Zentangle because it's square or rectangular. This is a form of meditation that uses repetitive patterns to create images. Now, if you take a look at this design, we started with a heart, and then there are different rays that come out from the heart. Different patterns are in each of those rays. Some are straight lines, some are curved, some are angular. It's totally up to you what type of pattern you want to put in. It's not a scribble, it's a pattern. So many Zentangles are purely geometric shapes. Some are random shapes. Some are both. If you take a look at the two that we have here, we have a leaf, and in the veins of the leaf is actually a poem about an oak tree. The different areas of the leaf are then designed with different patterns. And I know how much you love those Venn diagrams in math and language arts and social studies. So why not bring them to the art room? And what we did is where the circles overlap, the different patterns show up. These are just random wavy lines that we have, and there are different patterns within these wavy lines. It's all black and white, and you can obviously tell where different kinds of markers were used with the different intensity of the black. This is the similar thing that I just showed you, and you say, but it looks so different. Color really does make a difference. You can add color, but it is optional. That is totally up to you. Color can also give it a different feel. When you look at this, it's kind of gloomy. It has dark colors, the greens and the blues. It's up to you how you want your piece to be portrayed. What we're going to do is a name or word Zendala or Zentangle. So you're going to have somewhere in your design a name or a word. It does not have to be in English, but it cannot be a bad word. It has to be approved. So this person, obviously her name is Veronica. She wanted a theme, so she chose flowers and leaves, and she has those all around her name. It fills up a majority of the page, and she highlighted her name with red so that it would stand out. We take a look at David's. I'm not showing you David's because it was great, but David used a different technique for the name. The name does not have to be the focal point and right in the center. His starts at the bottom and goes up towards the top and gets larger. And if you notice, wait a minute, that says Andrea. Why does she have David's name? I said you can do a name. It doesn't have to be your name. Andrea had a crush on David, so she did his name. This person spent so much time on their border. I said, Fuck, you can hardly see your name. Yo, Ms. Anderson, with a name like Fuck, do you really want to highlight it? Okay, point taken. He didn't choose his name, his parents did. But he chose not to bring attention to his name, so he didn't outline it. And he spent an inordinate amount of time making his border look like wood. This person's name is David. Yes, the same David from before. His last name was Grant. He didn't have a crush on Grant. So he chose to leave a white space around his name and put different patterns within the letters of his name as well as the surrounding areas. This person's name is Rachel. Her name gets lost because it's so tiny and so thin that all of the intricate patterns that she has in the background take away from her name and you can hardly see it. But when you look at Elle's name, you notice her name is big, it's bright, it's bold. You can't miss it. It's in those rainbow colors. So that stands out against the background that she has patterned. These were two paper plates I had on my counter. I traced a small paper plate and then I moved the larger one off center and made a moon. Then I added teardrops coming down from these dotted lines so it almost looks like crystals hanging from chains. I took that paper plate and I made a flower design and then made it larger and larger and larger and then just continued to doodle. These are two lips. Obviously, this is adding shading to your design, and that is up to you as well. It was pouring rain outside when I did this one, so I started drawing the clouds, and then those giant raindrops came down, and I added color to a few of the raindrops to add interest to my picture. And then my daughter walked in from outside, and she was soaking wet, and that's her at the bottom. So she was an afterthought to the picture, but you can have small little details. Don't forget, yours has to have a name or a word. This was around Halloween time. I had started with the tree against the full moon. Then I added flowers. I hate the flowers, but that's besides the point. I added rays from it that almost look like sun rays, and then curvy lines and some bubbles. And it's just a repetitive design that I have throughout the piece. You can repeat patterns, but you do need about 30 different patterns when you're doing your design. These were my sister's three cats sitting on the window a few Thanksgivings ago. And no, her cats don't look like this. Unless you're doing some crazy drugs, most cats don't look like this. So you want to make sure that what you're doing, if you're choosing a theme like cats, that the outline stands out enough so that you can put those pattern designs within it. At Christmas time, I had a lot more time with my sister's cats, who I'm highly allergic to, but we won't go there. And I did their faces. So again, all of the smaller designs make up their faces. This is one design over and over and over. It's a curved line. That's all this is. But it makes a picture just by repeating the lines in different curves. If you take a look at my whale, you'll notice what he had for lunch. He had a whole lot of ocean and a bunch of little fish. Obviously, the Zentangle or the Zendala part is on the top part of the whale where all the patterns are, and the stomach is just an afterthought. This person asked me, Miss Anderson, do I have to do a name? Can I just do a letter? And I'm like, a letter? What kind of letter? Just a letter. Well, it obviously made sense after he chose his letter and he represented Superman. He used the colors of Superman to enhance his design as well. This is the same pineapple that was by two different people. So you can see the same object two different ways, especially by adding color or keeping it black and white. You'll notice all the designs are in marker or pen, ink. Any type of final design must be in ink, meaning you can use a flare, you can use a Sharpie, you can use a pen, but it cannot be pencil. You can color in with colored pencil and shade with pencil, but your final design should look almost like a coloring book. And this is me in high school and after I had kids. Similar, just a little wider. So what do you need? All you really need are a couple of pens of different thicknesses, and if you want, some colored pencils, and let's get doodling. And that's all it really is doodling. You can start by thinking about a tattoo sleeve. Someone who wanted a tattoo might have gotten a little heart, and then they expanded upon it and more and more and more until they filled the whole arm with their tattoo sleeve. This is a very similar technique that you're doing. Good luck and happy doodling.